Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. Well, folks, grab a cup of coffee and settle in because I got to tell you what's got this old heart of mine racing like it's the 4th of July all over again. I've been watching General Hospital longer than some of you have been married, and this week's episodes from April 27 right through to May 1 have me grinning from ear to ear. Those scenes between Josslyn Jax and the man everyone's calling Nathan West are pure soap opera gold, and I'm here to share exactly why they've got me chuckling and wondering what in the world is coming next. I was sitting right there in my favorite chair when the gym scenes popped up. Josslyn, bless her heart, was looking every bit as determined and pretty as ever, working out and throwing those sideways glances at Nathan. You could feel the air crackle between them. She's been digging around like a curious kitten, trying to piece together the last big project old Caesar Faison left behind. But let me tell you something. I think something brand new is pulling her in, and it's not just the mystery anymore. It's that man standing across from her, the one with the familiar face and the secrets tucked behind those eyes. Now here's where it gets good and complicated, the way life in Port Charles always does. This fella, Cassius Faison, is head over heels in love with Lulu Spencer. And wouldn't you know it, Lulu is Josslyn's own cousin. I shook my head when I thought about that one. If Lulu could swipe her best friend's husband without blinking, then maybe the tables are turning here, right? Turnabout is fair play, as my old daddy used to say. But I'm telling you, deep down I've got a feeling this romance, if it sparks up, could light a fuse that blows the whole town sky high. Josslyn isn't some wide-eyed kid anymore. She's grown into a sharp young woman with a good head on her shoulders, and she can sense when something's not sitting right. She's been flirting a little, sure, but mostly she's poking and prodding because she knows Nathan's sudden return just doesn't add up. I love that about her. She mixes charm and stubbornness like nobody's business. She's turning up the charm on purpose while she tries to solve the puzzle, and I swear you can see the wheels turning in her pretty head every single time they share the screen. Of course, we fans have known the truth for a while now. This isn't the real Nathan West at all. It's his twin brother, Cassius, stepping into his shoes and living a borrowed life. That kind of secret never stays quiet for long in a place like Port Charles. And when Lulu finally finds out the man she's been loving isn't who she thinks, well, I can already hear the heartbreak from here. It makes my chest tighten just thinking about it. These stories have a way of reminding us that love and lies don't mix easy, no matter how much we wish they would. Still, I have to be honest with you. Even with that big age difference between Josslyn and Cassius, there's a spark there that's hard to ignore. The way they looked at each other in the gym, those little smiles, the way she tilted her head just so it wasn't all business. The preview for this week showed them in a real tense face-off, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat wondering, is this going to explode into a shouting match, or is it about to turn into something warmer and a whole lot more dangerous? I'm betting my favorite fishing hat there's a chance for some real romantic fireworks here. Look, I know these kinds of storylines can get messy as a plate of spaghetti. Josslyn's playing with fire, trying to uncover Faison's final secrets, while her heart might be getting tangled up at the same time. She's bringing that perfect mix of determination and a touch of recklessness that makes you root for her even when you want to holler at the screen. Honey, slow down. But that's what I love about General Hospital. It feels so real, like the ups and downs we've all seen in our own families and friendships over the years. Picture this. Cassius is right there inside Josslyn's apartment. She starts walking toward the door, probably figuring it's time for him to leave. But then, bam, he reaches out and grabs her arm, strong and sudden. Josslyn jumps a little, startled, and he gives her this smile that's equal parts dangerous and charming. Lord, the tension jumped right off my screen. You could feel something electric in the air, and it sure wasn't just anger. Then Britt Westbourne drops a bomb in the voiceover. She's not just a silly sorority girl, she's a WSB agent. Now that got me thinking. Britt telling Cassius about Josslyn makes sense on one hand, but on the other, she swore she'd keep that secret. Maybe she's trying to warn him to watch his step and not say too much around that clever young lady. Either way, it adds another layer to the whole mess, and I love how these stories keep twisting. I remember those earlier scenes at the gym where they were still being polite, throwing little smiles and chatting like normal folks. But now it looks like that politeness is turning into something sharper, maybe even hostile. Still, any longtime viewer knows the truth. When two people start butting heads like this on General Hospital, it often means romance is waiting right around the corner. There's just something about the way they look at each other, even with the big age difference. You can't deny there's a real spark. It's the kind of pull that makes you lean forward in your seat. And let's be honest about Cassius. He's playing a dangerous game working with Jen Sidwell, lying about who he really is, wearing his brother's life like a borrowed coat. That makes him look like a straight-up villain to a lot of people. But then you see how far he went to protect little Rocco Falconeri, and you think, maybe there's still a decent man somewhere deep down in there. It's hard to figure him out completely, and that's what makes him so interesting to watch. Now, here's the part that really gets my imagination going. What if this confrontation in Josslyn's apartment blows up? He calls her out for lying and pretending to be just a regular girl, and she fires right back about his secrets. All that heat and emotion, well, in the world of daytime TV, that kind of fire doesn't always stay as fighting. Sometimes it turns into passion real quick. Could these two actually end up in bed together? It would be one heck of a shock, but it wouldn't be the first time a good girl and a complicated fella crossed that line. Even just a heated kiss would be enough to set the whole town buzzing. Don't forget Cassius is still tangled up with Lulu Spencer, Josslyn's own cousin, but that relationship already looks shaky. And once the truth about who he really is comes out, it's probably going to explode like a 4th of July fireworks show. If Lulu could steal her best friend's husband, maybe Josslyn ending up in Cassius's arms wouldn't be the craziest thing that's ever happened in Port Charles. I'll tell you what I really enjoy about all this. Josslyn isn't some helpless girl. She's smart, she's brave, and she's mixing her detective work with a little bit of charm and recklessness. Watching her try to solve Caesar Faison's final puzzle while getting pulled toward this man who's full of secrets, it feels real. It reminds me of how life can get so complicated when your head and your heart start pulling in different directions. I'm going to be right there in front of the TV every single day this week, coffee in hand, just like I have been for more years than I can count. These characters have become like old friends to so many of us. Will Josslyn and Cassius go from enemies to something much hotter? Will that arm grab moment lead to fireworks or heartbreak? I don't know for sure, but I sure can't wait to find out. I'll be parked in front of the TV every single day this week, just like I have been for decades. There's nothing better than a good old-fashioned surprise that keeps you guessing and reminds you why we keep coming back to these characters we've grown to love. Will Josslyn steer clear of the trouble, or will she let that little spark turn into a full-blown flame? Either way, it's going to be one heck of a ride, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. You folks take care now, and I'll catch you after the next episode. I've got a feeling we're all going to have plenty more to talk about real soon.